They thought it was over. Legs shaking, lungs burning, barely holding it together. They staggered towards the finish line. Salvation was right there. A few more steps and they'd be free. Then the instructor grinned. "Keep running." The words hit like a hammer. Confusion, anger, despair. "But you said..." "I said I'd tell you when to stop, so keep running." This is Special Forces training in a nutshell. They don't just push your body to the edge, they go after your mind. They take the one thing you've clung to, the certainty that relief is coming, that you're about to be done, and they rip it away. That's when most people break. Not because their bodies give out, but because they can't handle the not knowing. That's anxiety in a nutshell. It's not just a worry, it's the torture of the unknown. The same thing happens in life. Most people think their fears are about money, relationships, or failure. "I'm afraid I'll lose my job. I'm scared they'll leave me. I can't fail. Everyone will think I'm a joke." But if you dig deeper, it's not about those things at all. What you're really scared of is uncertainty. That's the heart of anxiety. It's not the situation itself that keeps you up at night. It's the unknown. So what do? Well, most people try to get rid of the sources of anxiety. They try to manage and eliminate uncertainty from their lives. They create ironclad morning routines. They wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, drink their bulletproof coffee and journal their worries away. They stick to strict schedules, thinking control will protect them from the unknown. They avoid uncertain situations, no risky business moves, no putting themselves out there emotionally, no stepping outside their comfort zones. They organize, plan, micromanage, and try to build a life so predictable, so safe that anxiety has nowhere to hide. But while there's a place for structure and routines, here's the problem. You can't eliminate uncertainty. It's impossible. No matter how tight your grip, life will still happen. Plans will unravel. People will surprise you. Circumstances will shift. That's why the real solution is not trying to control life into submission. It's building the muscle to handle uncertainty when it arises. Because when you can do that, you don't need to control your life like you do now. Your comfort zone expands, your world gets bigger, and you start living instead of just managing. The question is, how do you build that uncertainty muscle? Here's how I've been approaching it. Instead of running from the unknown, instead of trying to control my life in a million different ways, I've started injecting uncertainty into my day on purpose. Not in big, overwhelming ways, just enough to stretch my system, just enough to train myself to handle and get comfortable with that discomfort of not knowing and staying grounded in that. The first thing I've been using is random number generators. So in the morning, I love having cacao, and I'll measure out 25 grams, controlled, predictable, and safe. But now, I let a random number generator decide, anywhere between, say, 10, 25 grams. Sounds ridiculous, right? But even that tiny little bit of unpredictability, will it be enough? Will it taste the same? Will I feel the same? It kicks up discomfort, and that's the point. I stay with that discomfort. I let my nervous system feel that chaos, feel that uncertainty, and learn that it's okay. The second thing I like to do is to flip a coin for decisions with low stakes. So for example, I've got two main running routes here in Peru, two ways that I go when I run, left or right. But instead of having the control, I let a coin decide. Heads, I go left. Tails, I go right. It's small stakes. Who cares, right? But my brain, my mind, my thoughts, they still rebel because the mind wants control and it hates letting go of the reins. And that's the point, to push my own buttons in there, to trigger that part of myself so I can work through it. The third thing I like to do is to use a random timer. This one's my favorite. This is about as close as I can get to imitating that Special Forces test on my own. So I get a random timer. There are apps for this. I set a timer for somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes for the first half of my run. I don't know the exact time. I can't see a timer, and I don't look at the clock. And that means for the entire run, for the next 20 minutes, for the next 30 minutes, however long I end up running for, I don't know how long it's going to take. And the mind starts to spin. When will it beep? Am I halfway? Am I close? When will this end? It's really subtle, and it doesn't sound like much, but it's powerful. And not only that, is you have to be in that moment. I have to keep running and keep executing and show myself that I can be uncertain and keep moving forward. Now, each of these tricks is a way to shake up the snow globe of my nervous system, to trigger that craving for certainty so I can work through it. But it's not enough to just trigger that uncertainty. If you're not present to it, if you disassociate, get stuck in your head, or start strategizing your way around it, you're not actually working through it. You're avoiding it. This is like setting a random timer for your run and then spending the whole time calculating averages, trying to guess when it'll go off. That's not sitting with the unknown. That's you trying to claw back control. Now, of course, you can't completely stop your mind from spinning. That's fine. Just don't get caught up in it. Don't use your thoughts to dodge the direct experience of uncertainty. The real goal is about sitting in the presence of great uncertainty without flinching, without turning away, without avoiding it, without managing it. Undeterred, unintimidated, until it no longer scares you, until it no longer holds power over you, until it feels like just another part of life. Some call this surrender. Others might say that it's what meditation teaches you, sitting cross-legged, breathing slow, meditating on death or uncertainty or whatever. And yeah, that's fine for practice. But let's be real. The stakes in those situations, 0. Nothing happens if you crush it. Nothing happens if you don't. You're just sitting there, safe and still. It's uncertainty on easy mode. But out there on the run, in the gym, with sweat in your eyes and your body on fire, that's where the real work happens. That's where you don't just sit with uncertainty, you move through it. You act, you execute, you prove to yourself step by step, rep by rep, move by move that you can stay in the chaos and still get the job done. And if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere. So stop sitting, start moving, and let's see what you're made of. Remember who you are.